Good, happy Monday morning. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast. Let's get started. First up, former GOP Senator retreats up criticism of President Trump. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
Marshall has been creating beautiful, healthy smiles. Combining an aesthetic approach with advanced clinical skills, Dr. Marshall and his team provide life-changing dental care for a lifetime of good health. Using the latest in techniques and technology, Aesthetic Dental Center is proud to offer personalized preventative and therapeutic dental care. Invisalign, cosmetic dentistry, implants, and dentures. Call 603-224-1743 or visit us on the web at aestheticdentalcenter.com.
One of the most conservative U.S. senators ever elected in New Hampshire reemerged in the last few days as a top critic of President Donald Trump, calling for the president to be stripped of his executive powers. And this morning on Close Up, Gordon Humphrey did not pull any punches.
I think the man, frankly, suffers from mental illness. I think he is unfit to be president.
Former Republican U.S. Senator Gordon Humphrey isn't backing down from his withering criticism of President Donald Trump, who he fears is putting the U.S. on a course toward nuclear war with North Korea.
This man is dangerous to our safety. He could cause the deaths of millions by his recklessness and his insane conduct.
Last week, that strong rhetoric drew a commensurate response from White House allies like State Rep Al Baldessaro.
Well, I think the former senator is the one that's mentally unfit. I think he needs to go back into retirement.
What do you think about the supporters of Donald Trump who are questioning your conservative credentials, and also, as you're questioning the president's sanity, they're now questioning yours? Yeah. How do you respond?
I don't.
Humphrey, who is calling for the president to be declared incapacitated by a panel of doctors and stripped of his powers under the 25th Amendment, says he won't be rejoining the Republican Party until Trump is gone.
I think the Republican Party is lost. We have a crackpot at the top, and the senior Republican leadership in the states and in the Congress are silent and are making excuses for the president, and to that extent they're enabling him.
Senator Humphrey gave a high-profile endorsement in the 2016 New Hampshire primary to Ohio Governor John Kasich. He says he'd like to see the governor run again in 2020.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Skydiver rescued after becoming stuck in a tree for 4 hours. Let's take a listen to this video from WCVB Boston.
Load. Our fathers brought forth on this continent, unable to connect. The end.
Don't let slow internet get in the way of homework. Get your kids up to speed with Xfinity X5. Don't wait. Click today.
Okay, that is some video of rescue crews rescuing that skydiver. A skydiver became stuck in a tree Sunday and remained there for about 4 hours as rescuers were trying to reach him. The Dunstable Police and Fire Department said the skydiver was stuck between 60 and 80 feet up in a tree located near 223 River Street. The department said they were working with Northeast Massachusetts Technical Research Team to get the skydiver down. The skydiver, Artif Rathed, refused to be taken to the hospital after reaching the ground around 10:45 p.m. Officials said Rathed told reporters he was flying a wingsuit and had trouble deploying his main parachute before becoming twisted in the line for the reserve parachute. Rathed said he has about 5 years of skydiving experience. A search on Google Maps indicates that the skydiver was stuck just over 1/2 mile from a business named Skydive Propeller, although authorities have not said if the incident is related to that business. Sorry about that. Cruz Common Avenue Bridge project faces new delays. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston. Sorry about that, from Boston 25 News. Sorry.
For 72 months, plus additional $1,000 on top of your trade-in from America's best-selling brand. Get 0% for 72 months, plus an additional $1,000 on top of your trade-in during the Ford Summer Sales Event.
The crew is still busy working on the replacement of the Comm Ave Bridge. The section you're looking at right now was scheduled to reopen tomorrow, but work has been delayed. Boston 25 News reporter Jim Morelli joins us live from the bridge tonight. And Jim, MassDOT crews updated their progress just a few hours ago.
They did, and I'll tell you what, looking at the frenzy of activity behind us, it's hard to believe there ever was a thought this could all be finished by tomorrow morning. We have crews right now who are putting down some kind of an epoxy on the rail lines. There's also concrete to be poured and electrical lines to be strung. And of course, that's to say nothing of the cleanup. Overambitious, too good to be true, or pretty much what you'd expect for a large public works project.
It's kind of inconvenient just because getting to work, it takes longer.
That inconvenience continues. The Commonwealth Avenue Bridge was supposed to reopen to traffic and trains Monday morning. It won't.
We had hoped that we might get people back on the road and on the Green Line off the shuttle buses as early as tomorrow. That's not going to happen.
But Transportation Secretary Stephanie Pollock says a midweek reopening of the bridge is possible if the weather holds up.
The epoxy that's being used on the rail is very weather dependent, and so we need to make sure that it has the proper amount of time to set up.
And so for Green Line commuters, it was back to the drill. Bus to train to bus. Some didn't mind.
The shuttles are faster than the Green Line, I'd say.
And on the bright side, the Mass Pike will be unaffected by work going on above. A few more days of inconvenience. So far, patience seems to be holding up.
If it makes it better for the future, then I guess it's worth it.
And this 24/7 work will continue, well, at least for the next couple of days. We really don't have a firm date when this is all going to open. Again, it is weather dependent. And then after the rail lines have been installed, they also have to be inspected. I did ask the Secretary whether or not these few days of extra work are going to run into cost overruns. She says that they're going to get together after the project. They're going to figure out what went right and what went wrong. And at that time, they'll come up with a figure for it.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Several crews battling recycling plant fire in Elliott. Multiple crews responded to a large fire at a recycling plant in Elliott on Sunday. Fire officials said they got reports of a fire at Aggregate Recycling Co-op on Dow Highway just before 7 p.m. Fire officials said they don't believe the fire appears to be suspicious, but are planning to have the state fire marshals visit the scene sometime on Monday. Fire officials said they plan on being on scene throughout Sunday night, and that fire has been contained just the building. This is not a first time a fire has broke out at the plant, according to officials. No injuries have been reported, and all roads remain open. This is a developing story. Check back for more updates. If robots take over, here's the country where it will probably happen first. Artificial intelligence has no shortage of circuits from visionary like Elon Musk, who once compared AI to summoning the demon in a honor film, to everyday works who fear being replaced by machines. But AI and other new technologies could take off in countries with a shortage of young workers, according to Rob, Chief Economics for Asia ex-Japan News. Those include Japan, China, South Korea, and Taiwan. Trump condemns white supremacists, KKK, neo-Nazi, and all extremist groups. Let's take a listen to this video from ABC News.
Trust the brand doctors trust. Nexium 24 Hour is the #1 choice of doctors and pharmacists for their own frequent heartburn and all-day, all-night protection. When it comes to heartburn, trust Nexium 24 Hour.
Let's turn now to the president facing intense backlash for his response to all of this violence, refusing to specifically condemn the hatred unleashed by those white supremacists, instead choosing to blame, quote, many sides, and an unnamed White House official clarifying the president's statements using words he has yet to say in public. Here's ABC's David Wright.
Today, the White House struggled to shore up the president's equivocal response to Charlottesville.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides.
Of course, that includes white supremacists, KKK, neo-Nazi, and all extremist groups, an unnamed White House official explained today. But Trump has yet to call them out for inciting the violence in Virginia. Today, the president's national security advisor sat down with George Stephanopoulos.
Do you consider that car attack in Charlottesville yesterday an act of domestic terrorism?
I certainly think any time that you commit an attack against people to incite fear, it is terrorism.
But the president has yet to say so himself. A growing number of Republicans are breaking ranks over this. Senator Ted Cruz called the deadly car attack a grotesque act of domestic terrorism, posting, "The Nazis, the KKK, and white supremacists are repulsive and evil, and all of us have a moral obligation to speak out."
We call this white supremacism, this white nationalism evil, and let the country hear it, let the world hear it.
I think that clearly he should talk out much more aggressively about it.
Trump has never hesitated to call out foreign enemies.
We don't want radical Islamic terrorists in our country. Radical Islamic terrorism. Okay, we have to say the term.
But he's tended to pull his punches when it comes to white nationalists like David Duke.
Honestly, I don't know David Duke. I don't believe I've ever met him. I'm pretty sure I didn't meet him, and I just don't know anything about him.
Duke and his followers were strong Trump supporters. He was in Charlottesville yesterday, but even he took offense at the president's